All right. We're going to do this. We're going to listen to this call. Okay. And you tell me, is this a good call or is this a bad call? Okay.
Speaking.
My name's Kristen. How are you?
I'm good, Kristen. How about you?
I'm all right. I'm calling. I have a weird question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I am just kind of calling around. I woke myself up last night at like 3:30. I rolled over in bed and I was like, "Oh Lord, the whole room's spinning. I think I just gave myself some vertigo."
Oh no.
And
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I've got a major ski trip planned, leaving this Saturday early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that those two things don't work together very well. It's not very safe. Do you guys have any availability tomorrow to do a quick vertigo treatment?
Let's see. I do have an open spot, and it's the only one left. Are you a new patient with Atlas?
Yeah, I'm new to the area, and I just am like calling around to see what to do, just in case if I wake up tomorrow and it's still like this. I'm like, oh gosh, I can't go ski with this.
Oh yeah, I understand. Okay, so what would happen is it would have to be an initial evaluation with one of our doctors. So tomorrow the only one that we have is 7:30 a.m. with Doctor.
Shoot, I've got a meeting at 8 p.m. that's in person, or 8 a.m. that's in person.
Yeah,
I'll
so
get.
yeah, 'cause a session would take normally like at least an hour, give or take, especially with the first session.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep calling around. Thanks so much for looking.
Sure thing, no worries. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye bye.
All right. So type in the chat. What would you do differently? What would you do differently? Type in the chat. I love all that stuff in there, right? Yeah, because if you were to answer, it'd be very different, right? It's kind of like what happens is like when a patient comes to you on like the first assessment, what would you do different? Like, how do you start that report, right? And so like, I think this is important, like number one is when it comes to like, like once again, number one is that like did we connect with them, do we know the patient's name, did the front desk talk about their name, like are we able to connect with them, right? I think that's important. And then the second step, like in my CARES framework, is like, did we show empathy, urgency, oh my god, like I'm sorry to hear that, right? I'm sorry to hear like what happened, tell me more, I'm sorry to hear you're in pain right now, right? Type sorry, I'm sorry in the chat, right? Type I'm sorry, like if your grandma called you and they said they're in pain, like what would you say? Like, I'm so sorry that you're in pain right now. Would you not say that? Like to show empathy, right? Oh my god, like how long have you been suffering this for, blah blah blah, right? And then like, did we demonstrate like results and patient stories? Did we show like social proof, right? Oh my god, like we've totally like helped people with vertigo just like you, like yesterday, blah blah blah, you know what I mean, right? And they explain to them how exactly it works and make it so it's so desirable that they actually book with us, right? So you don't have to shop around, and to squeeze them into an appointment, right? Who's noticed that like when you're patient, when you don't have no availability and like that you when you don't have anything in your schedule, it seems that like everyone wants to get in. Type me in the chat, right? People will arrange their schedule. So why not train your front desk so it's all like that? Every time they call, oh my god, our schedule's so full, let me squeeze you in here, like this is my only spot available. Like imagine if we trained our sales like team very different like that. Who likes that tip? Give me a score of 100 if you like that tip. Pretend, people will choose their schedule if you show them enough social proof on why they should do it. And like, if you only have a limited spot, it's like at the grocery store. If there's only like one loaf of bread left, people will buy that loaf of bread. But if you give them like 100 loaves of bread, like different brands, no one's gonna it's not empty. Like that's what we're seeing right now at the grocery store. If that makes sense, type in like bread in the chat. Type bread in the chat.